As the prophet of esports, I rely on trustworthy and meaningful data every day. Data from our research partner, YouGov, offers the most complete view of esports fans and gamers in the world, providing context to who they are, what they think, the brands they buy, and things they do. YouGov's connected insights and research services inform strategy at every level. If you're a team, a brand, agency, or rights holder, you should be talking with YouGov. Their partners measure and maximize ROI and are telling compelling stories with data. Visit yougov.com/gaming-esports to learn more. This metaverse theme, guys, because I have another very, I think, metaverse kind of story, which I feel like didn't get a lot of play this week, but I felt was significant. And this is, the headline here is gamers pledge $203 million in Ember Swor'ds virtual land sale. So basically what has happened here is 35,000 gamers have pledged $203 million to buy virtual land in a game called Ember Sword, which, by the way, is not out yet. So it doesn't actually exist yet. And what the game's developer is going to do is they're going to sort through all of these applications, so the 35,000 people who applied to own land, essentially, and they're going to choose 6,000 of them to purchase 6,000 plots of land that are available in the game. So you had 35,000 basically commit dollars, and with not all, knowing 100% for sure they're going to be selected, but 35,000 gamers ponying up dollars to own virtual land in an unreleased game. Is this, I mean, if I don't know, if this doesn't say something very significant about the state of people's enthusiasm, maybe about a potential metaverse, what does? Like, I'm curious, what do you guys take away from this? Do you take away crazy? Do you take away opportunity? Do you take away, like, this is a sign of things to come? This is a one-off? Where do you guys fall on this?
I mean, 10 years ago, people were taking real, and today, and also today now, but 10 years ago, or more, 15, people were taking real money and they were using it to buy fake video game money, to then use that to buy fake video game items, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see this as that much different, honestly. Like, it's kind of scary because it's just like it's
well, the game's not out,
land.
so like
Right.
There's maybe a question of like, is this really prudent to be buying land in a game that may never see the light of day or may not be good? Or but I see your point. You're saying, Jimmy, that this is not that different than things we've been doing for the last 10 years anyways. It's just we're labeling it different. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I am hearing Lex Luthor in my mind, right? Talking about, like, you can, like the value of land. I can't remember the quote. It's one of those Superman quotes, right? Where he's like, anyways, yeah, I think it's not that different. It's a good summary.
This is a complete tangent, but if they added a real estate mode to The Sims, I would 1,000% play it. And I would buy and sell all of the virtual lands.
I mean, that's why don't they do that? Why don't they do that, right? Like,
well, can I just add one little wrinkle here? Because it does say in this article that if you own land in the game, right, it's not just owning virtual pixels that have no purpose, I guess, in the sense that if you own land in this game, you share what they call in the trading fees, and you earn in-game crypto, basically, or, I guess just crypto, but it's a token that the game has developed from economic activity that happens on or around your land. Does this change it at all for you? Like, is this now more like buying real estate? Like,
I don't know what fancy cities there are in the Alliance, but if you could have bought all the surrounding land around like Orgrimmar or any of these WoW headquarters, knowing that, before you knew that the game was the massive success that it became, would you not take that risk? It sounds awesome to me.
I can tell you, in the few hours I played of New World, the only goal I really had was to buy a house, which has no purpose other than being purely cosmetic. But yeah, you're right, Jimmy. You would have. It's just, I'm not sure I understand what the end game is for all of these things, because fundamentally they still feel very much gated by the game you play, right? There's no fabric interconnecting all these things, right? If I don't play Ember Sword, the land's worth nothing to me, right? Which is very different from, because call it a true metaverse has some direct corollary to the universe we live in, right? And if I go buy land in China, it's still worth something. Just because it's not in New York City, it still has value to me. I can still extract value from it.
Yeah.
Games are gated fundamentally.
Well,
I don't know.
There's also besides the gating issue, there's also the life cycle issue, right? Like, where how long does the land in this game even stay accessible? You know, how long are we going to get a Ember Sword vanilla or whatever in 20 years? So that's we're still a long ways away from, I think, the Ready Player One Oasis kind of metaverse, where this is just a self-sustaining, right, like perpetual thing.
Can I add one last thing that I think will set Jeff off? Jeff, 70 to 80% of the applications for this virtual land, okay, came from individual gamers. The rest came from other groups, which included like legitimate real estate investment firms.
Really? I mean,
yeah.
I don't know why you think that would set me off. What was the spend? I was trying to, before my computer shut off or whatever, I was trying to calculate what was the spend per person. It was 206 million divided.
It's 203 million over 6,000 plots that are available.
Let's do the math. What is that in terms of per? Like, I guess what I'm getting at is like it's an incredibly high amount per person, right?
It's about $33,833 per plot.
Yeah, that's a lot. Like for the like think about like the average in person's not spending $35,000 on a piece of fake real estate. Like, it's really high for spend per person, which means maybe there was some people like real estate funds that bought big chunks. I think what Jimmy said makes all the sense in the world. Like, this is a game that we have excuse my ignorance, I don't even know if this game is out yet. I don't know if it's
not.
Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, why would you buy land in this game?
Well, I mean, I'm super hyped on the idea, but at the same time, like, this could be the biggest scam in the history of gaming. You know what I mean?
Crazy.
We don't know where it lands yet.
I love the idea of digital ownership, and like, I think eventually, we talk about this every week, it seems like, but once we get to the true metaverse, you're going to have to be able to own things in that metaverse. There's going to have to be a digital currency. There's going to have to be persistent ownership. But I think you both made good points in the sense of, we don't know if this isn't going to be the metaverse. So buying
can I just make a point though? Because I think land is one of the few things in the eventual metaverse that I struggle to believe will have any long-term value.
Because unless fundamentally, resources.
It's not scarce in any way, right? The way real land is.
Just thinking that. Not to mention.
Why do you assume it's not scarce?
Because in a true metaverse, right, a true non-gated by one game metaverse, anyone should be able to tack on and create, right, in a true metaverse. That it's not gated by one company or one game or anything like that, right? That there's fabric you can build on top of. And if that's the case, well, then land sort of seems infinite.
There's also the restrictions, not just in terms of like the amount of land, but also like the physical barrier of land, right? Where, going through tunnels around it.
Yeah.
I mean, right? Like in video games, you hop on your mount and like, I'm not going on the road.
That's it.
I'm going to, so land acts differently.
I spend a lot of money to live where I live because I can walk to Central Park, right? In a virtual world, distance has there's no punishing value for distance.
Right.
Part of me is wondering if these will fundamentally have to be tenets of the metaverse. Like I think scarcity will have to be a fundamental part of the like, if you create a metaverse where everyone can just create infinite amounts of land and goods and anything, it sort of loses any kind of value. You know what I mean? Like there will not be an economy if there's no scarcity.
That's not true, because anyone can go create a YouTube video today, but some YouTube videos you'd pay a lot more for than for others, right? Like, just because anyone can create,
Juice.
you got juiced.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but there's, yeah, I guess you're talking about as differentiation, but like if anyone could just tack on additional quote unquote land, like I just don't see how that could theoretically work. Like one would just like the computing power that it would take. I don't know how you could physically house all that, but also it's just, you know, we're almost getting into theoretical concepts of like the universe endlessly expanding. It just doesn't, you know, how does all of that get stored and processed? Like, how do I know where you are if you could theoretically be endlessly away? Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being
Cam
ridiculous
says,
right now.
yeah, the metaverse theoretically is infinite, which I believe also to be true. Just
Again, I'm really hyped by the story. I just love the idea that, like, you know, this is happening, that you have real estate companies buying fake video game land in a video game. I hope for their sake that the game is a massive success, that they could put billboards on that land, or I don't know, charge a tax to ride through it and force funnel mounts that have to travel through their land. I'm not sure, but there's more questions than there are answers here.